What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to TD Fans Talk. Shout out to you if you're already in the room. First one looks like Gregory Fontaine. I appreciate you joining the room, Gregory. Welcome, 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 my guy. But hey, tomorrow, guys, we have the Buffalo Bills. Um, my favorite Doll fan. What up, Pete? Shout out to Pete, everybody. Tomorrow we got the Buffalo Bills, man. And the truth is, man, the truth is the way you feel about the game, you're excited to see good football, but at the end of the day, you know it's not like it's going to be played to get into playoffs or anything significant outside of that. But there are a few things that will be interesting tomorrow. One thing is how the Miami Dolphins end their season. How are we going to end our season? Are we going to go out at least 500, or are we going to be below 500 ending the season? Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, that has a lot to do with the future of the Miami Dolphins. Believe it or not. Some people may think all decisions have been made already, but the truth is, tomorrow's game actually is going to help make some decisions in the front office going forward and in Stephen Ross. So I personally look for the Miami Dolphins to come out and play their best football on the road. Look for if it's a tough, gritty game and Miami late in the game ends up winning the game. I really do believe that's going to give some people in the organization a more fortunate future than they would like. Okay, then they would not like, I would say, but one of those individuals being Ryan Tannehill. I think Ryan Tannehill tomorrow, since Adam Gase said that he will be playing, needs to come out and play a very good game. He needs to manage the game, manage the team, regardless of the injuries and those type of things. Find a way to show that you can do small, little, intangible things. Like if the blitz is coming, where he says, forget what Adam Gase says. I see the blitz coming. I have a three-man route going straight out. No, let me audible this guy in a hot route or whatever it may be. But a lot of people all eyes are going to be on him. Also, Adam Gase, what type of game plan on the road is he going to put together for a team to see if he can do some late season execution? But some of these things are real. They're real, guys. Whether we want Gase or Tannehill, the reality is none of us can honestly say whether those guys will be here or not next year. All these reports that they won't, all these reports that they will. That's why you can't. All of these games make a difference, and you have to evaluate every single one of them, and that includes the Buffalo game. Matt Burke, as much as I like to say, I don't care what happens, get him out of here. Tomorrow's going to be huge for him as well. I think he should be gone regardless, but tomorrow will still be huge for Matt Burke. Okay. What else? Who else? Xavier Howard. I'm still interested to see if they're going to play around or if they're going to play the guy. I personally don't believe Xavier Howard should play one snap tomorrow. To me, that would be, excuse me, that would be a disrespect, man. Yeah, I mean, the man coming fresh off of an injury, dial the season in. It's not like it's meaningful. We already know what we got in the guy. He has an opportunity to get better and better as well. So I do not see why they would play Howard. Sad thing is, it's like he's been fighting to get back and he's been preparing to play, practicing this week. I'm just not a believer when you have a player like that, your only Pro Bowler on the roster, your only Pro Bowler, when you have a man like that, who I'm not going to say is proven because he's still young, but at the end of the day, who's played some amazing football. And from a value standpoint, you have an asset. Why? When that, do not expose those assets to anything if you know he's going to be long term. So I do. If I see Xavier Howard on the field next week, that would go hand in hand with another questionable call by Adam Gase. I think all these things are being watched. Stephen Ross is probably sitting back. I'm not going to tell him not to play Xavier Howard if he's healthy to play. I'm going to see if he makes that decision. Who knows? That's why this week is actually bigger than just in the last game, win or lose or draw. We love our team. No, it's big. A lot of decisions are being made even in this last week, guys. Great news this week. Can't wait. Wants to end his career in Miami, which is beautiful to hear. First time I've actually heard the man say it. That's the truth. I want some people to think about that. Every single time Cam Wake redid his contract with Miami, he sat at that table to sign, and every time he has always said, I guess I got 2 more years over here. I guess I got a few more years over here. Go back and look at the tape every time he signed his contract. this is what he said. And it always scared me with him because I didn't know if he was going to, because it's one thing to have a player leave you and go somewhere else that's Super Bowl ready or whatever it may be. But it's better when you can hold on to a player for their career. It's something the fan base can resonate with. It will actually, he will take a hit as a Miami Dolphin all time if he was to leave the Miami Dolphins, go to a whole nother franchise, especially if he wins a championship. He would actually take a hit on his legacy with Miami because it didn't happen with us. That's just a fact, guys. Stick with your team no matter what. Salute TD. Shout out D Wade, of course, man. But guys, listen, the reality is he has to Adam Gase has to make certain decisions like Cam Wake. I mean, I'm glad that he says he wants to end his career in Miami because it was the first moment as a Dolphin fan where Dolphin fans have stuck up for Cam Wake forever. But I've always viewed Cam Wake as looking at the Miami Dolphins as a transaction. And this was the first case in which I felt like, okay, he's embracing this as his home. I know he does what he needs to do in the community and say what he needs to say in front of cameras, but this is the first real time where I've witnessed Cam Wake embrace the Miami Dolphins as his home forever. I am a franchise player. Because technically, if we want to call it, players like him are franchise players that we never named a franchise player early on, but their career has been so long that we can go back and give them that and say he was a franchise player for us. So we shall see. But hopefully Miami does what's right on our end and make sure that we re-up on Cam Wake and make sure that we give him that another year or maybe two if you can get a better deal. You know, if he says, hey, I'll do 1 year for $6 million, and we say, okay, you know, me personally, I would love to get like a 1 year, $5 million or something like that. But if he does a 1 year, $6 million, I wouldn't even be reserved to say, how about we give you a 2 year, $8 million? You know, it extends your career even more and it saves us money and gets you paid a little more, if that makes sense. But hey, we shall see what he decides to do. And what our organization decides to do. But I hope that he's around for at least a year or two and he goes up in the Raptors of Miami. I don't think that's a question at this point. He will be in the Raptors, but I really do want to see him rival with Jason Taylor on the all-time sack list, especially for the Miami Dolphins. I think he's about like, I don't know, I got to look it up, maybe like 18 or something away from Taylor, somewhere in that range. I have to go look it back up. But who knows? We shall see what comes out of it, guys. It'll be exciting to see. I'm excited about it. But hey, Wake is the Miami Dolphins. He personifies what the Miami Dolphin organization is. So we love him, and hopefully that works out for sure. On other news, even our quarterback Ryan Tannehill said that he wants to retire a Miami Dolphin as well. He says that he doesn't want to be with any other franchise other than the Miami Dolphins. Will that happen? Honestly, that is the biggest question of the all season. What direction is the Miami Dolphins going to go? I know the media is trying to push for the Miami Dolphins to get a whole new quarterback, but we shall see what Stephen Ross decides. I don't think this is going to be a general manager decision nor a coaching decision. It's going to be an owner decision. I personally do believe that. So we shall see where that ends up, but it's glad to hear him say he definitely wants to end his career in Miami. The reason why I say it is a good thing to hear him say is because that means he just wants to be in Miami. That means the Miami may even be able to put the pressure on Ryan Tannehill in the offseason and say, hey, instead of us bringing you back for $26 million this year, how about renegotiate your contract on the last 2 years, and we go ahead and give you something like a 2 year, $35 million or something like that, and that would save the team a lot of money, and they'll have a quarterback for 2 years while in the draft. I believe they can go get a young stud that may be able to develop to rival Tannehill in training camp or even do better. We don't know, but hey, that's the chances that I want to take. I don't want to just get rid of somebody who's above average, in my opinion, and then go forward with the new guy, and then we go through all the same learning curves, all the same, oh, he didn't turn out to be. Because if you look at the statistics in the NFL, I mean, it is drastic how many quarterbacks fail versus those who are successful. So I would like for one of those young quarterbacks to actually be able to have some time to develop. So we shall see how we go in that regard as well. I'm interested. That is going to be the biggest story of the offseason, bigger than the Adam Gase story, bigger than Tannenbaum's story. All of those, the true story is going to be what are the Miami Dolphins going to do at the quarterback position, and how are they going to address the gaps and the needs that they need going forward to make the team better overall. So there's a lot there. I think we're in a much better position than a lot of people give off. I think we're in a great position because I look long term. I don't look at our team and just say this season or next season. I look at what we do from a roster standpoint that's going to be a long term. And I think we're starting to make those right moves, bringing in young, great talent. And some people say Miami Dolphins don't have anyone. Well, you don't know Miami Dolphin football, because if you don't think Jakeem Grant is a young, great talent, you are mistaken. If you don't think Albert Wilson is a young, great talent, you are mistaken. If you don't think Laramie Tunsil is a young, great talent, you are mistaken. If you don't think Xavier Howard is a young, great talent, you are mistaken. McMillan at the linebacker, you are mistaken. Mika Fitzpatrick, you are mistaken. If you don't think the Miami Dolphins have been bringing in great young talent for the future, like I said, you are mistaken. We are building great foundational pieces. Everyone that I just named is starter caliber in the NFL and can play at a very, very, very high level. So I see the transition into the future coming in. Now it's about bringing in a few more of those transcendent, players that can take your franchise over the top, and having a healthy balance of those mid-age players that have already been proven, and see if you can go get a championship, see if you can win a ring. That's what it's all about. Winning the Super Bowl, not just making the playoffs, not just going to the AFC championship game, not even making the Super Bowl, but winning the Super Bowl so that your franchise can be revered as one to be rivaled with. Period. And that's where the Miami Dolphins need to get back to. And it's been a long time since we've been there. We're all anxious to get back there. So I personally believe we have to be careful about the decisions that we make in the free agency and in the draft and in the offseason. It's got to be so important, guys. We can't slip up. This is a vital part of our franchise. I don't care who it's with. It can be with or without Tannehill, with or without Gates, with or without Tannenbaum, hell, with or without Ross. It can be however it happens. We can't make one bad decision at this point. We can't. I personally feel like we're on that precipice where 2-3 more great decisions in the offseason, and wow, who would have ever imagined? Who would have ever thought? Who would have ever thought that this was an opportunity? So I'm excited. I mean, personally, it might be a move that we all are pissed off about that might lead us to the Super Bowl. Like we can get rid of Tannehill today, and the next guy comes in, they lead us to a Super Bowl. It can be amazing, but I would never ignore the possibility of that happening versus the opposite. We can keep Tannehill and fix some things, and we win a Super Bowl. The thing is, we don't know. We can't judge it until it's all said and done. But the things that we can judge today, Matt Burke is not a great defensive coordinator. Adam Gase is shaky and will get the time he needs to see if it's just a bad year, but his resume isn't looking favorable. That's what we know. We also know that we have never fixed our O-line in the last 10 years. I mean, it's a fact at this point. It's a fact. And the one time that we actually did have it, we didn't have the quarterback available for it. So these are the things we do know. Okay? What we also know is we see the future of our secondary coming in. Let's not forget 15 years ago, we failed every single year in the secondary. Our offense actually was decent, and we still could not stop anyone. I mean, just the memories of the Patriots running down the field at will, Gronk 3 touchdowns a game versus us, just the memories of that. We never could secure a good secondary. Even if we have a Brent Grimes on one side, everybody else just isn't working. We never have, and now we can see where we've addressed that. Now, later in the future, we can see the moves that were made a few years ago were smart ones. Because now we have the future in. Bobby McCain, who hasn't had his best season, but it also can be attributed to the fact that any quarterback they play against has a lot of time. But he is still an up-and-coming cornerback / nickel. Xavier Howard, great decisions made. TJ McDonald, whether we want to admit it or not, when we started the season, we were all, man, get rid of what we got TJ McDonald back there for. TJ McDonald actually turned out to be very solid. We thought TJ McDonald was like a 5 out of 10 coming in. And now we're like, oh, TJ, he has his 7.5, 8 moments. TJ McDonald actually played solid for us this year, guys. He played very solid, changed my whole narrative and perspective about him. And that's what it takes, players earning it and changing perspectives. TJ McDonald played well. We don't mention his name a lot. Early, the first 4 or 5 games in the season, we're like, oh, TJ McDonald did this. But when you look at the totality of his season, TJ McDonald played great football for the Miami Dolphins. It's the truth. And to be fair, to be even honest with you, I'm not even going to say a little, a moderate amount better than Rashad Jones this year. It's the truth. It is the truth. So I see the future being ushered in. Xavier Howard on defense. Minkah Fitzpatrick, defense. Bobby McCain, defense. TJ McDonald, defense. If Robert Quinn can have a better year, if we decide to continue the contract or negotiate it, future guys, we're ushering them in. And I like that. But it's always about whoever we're going to replace, making sure that is this is what it's all about. Whoever we replace every offseason, we have to get better at that position every time. We can't say, no, I can't wait. We don't want you this last year. And then we go get a defensive end that ends up like Deion Jordan. We can't. We can't cut our quarterback and then end up with a quarterback like, you name them, y'all. Hell, Brock Osweiler. I don't know. And what I mean by that is a lot of people have been mentioning a name like Tyrod Taylor. What I mean is, what if you bring Tyrod in and it's worse? That's what we can't do. I don't care if we go get a new quarterback. What I care about is making sure that we know that the one we're bringing in is proven and he's going to be better than the one we have now. That's all I care about. Somebody said Nick Foles, TD. I just can't get behind any quarterbacks. And what I mean by it is I can't get behind and endorse quarterbacks who've literally had it made. I can't. It's a hard comparison. You can't compare a quarterback who's had it made. For me, it reminds me of Matt Castle when Tom Brady tore his ACL. And Matt Castle had that 12-4 season or something like that. 12-4, 11-5. And then he went off in the sunset and got big money. But he went off to a place where he didn't have it made. That offensive line in front of him wasn't the same as what he had before. So it's hard for me to just hear you all spew off a name, this quarterback, that quarterback. I cannot, whenever those guys have had it made. I have never seen I haven't seen Nick Foles in a boo-boo trash offensive line to see how he manages it. Look at this trash line, and Nick Foles is able to get out, and he does this, and he does that. I haven't. Some people say Teddy Bridgewater. I constantly say their offensive line is still. Teddy's offensive lines that he's had is still 2 times better than our bad one now. It's hard. So hard. People think that scrambling quarterbacks are good just because they can scramble. No, sometimes they're great at scrambling because their offensive line is still good. Even if somebody beat them and get through. The way that their offensive line is set up. See, that's something I want people to realize too when it comes to offensive lines. If one player gets beat, that's where pocket awareness comes and says, This side is getting beat. I need to shift this way. But what if you do if this side is getting beat and this side is getting beat and you see them blocking, doing their job, but it's a wall in front of you? You have nowhere to go. That's where people mistake it. It's not the same situations. When you have a quarterback who's under duress, but there is no lane to get out of and escape from, versus a quarterback who's under duress from one side and has this whole area over here free for him. And now they're moving out of the pocket. Now they're in the open field, one-on-one, using their legs. That's not always going to happen for some people. Let them come to Miami to find out. That, oh, it's coming over here. Let me use my legs. Wait, something's over here too. Let me come. Oh, no, oh, I'm sacked. It's not the same. It's different. It's so different. So it's hard when y'all throw these names out. It's hard for me to give endorsements. That's what I'm trying to say. I cannot give endorsements to people who've had it made. And some people are like, oh, their offensive line ain't elite. But if it's still 2 times better than the one we have now, if it's still 2 times better than the one we have now, that says a lot. It says a lot. It does. So this is a very crucial moment for our franchise, guys, because I see all the skill players. I just don't want us to end up making a decision that has us developing for 3 years, and then we look up crazy when we're talking about, all right, let's pay X, but X wants a crazy, ridiculous amount of money and we can't afford it. And he says, I'm okay, I want to go into free agency. And he goes into free agency and somebody else takes him. Or Laramie Tunsil. Because some people are like, oh, just franchise tag him. We got more than one player to franchise tag. Xavier Howard, if his contract was up now, we would be debating, should we franchise him? Laramie Tunsil, are we going to franchise him? Shout out to Pete, man. Show us some Drew Lock highlights, TD. I'll look that up. I'll look that up, Pete. But and we'll do that in a little bit, Pete. Oh, well, I can't do it on this platform, Pete, because I'm not on the system that I can do dual screens. But if I'm live later, remind me of that. That way I can show the highlights. I'll get on that platform where the screen looks different. I just wanted to come live real quick and talk to you all about tomorrow for sure. Because I was supposed to do this last night, but y'all already know in my personal life, all the babies, me and my wife are so busy all the time. My sister-in-law said, hey, do you need me to babysit for a few hours? And we never get that opportunity, so we had to take advantage of it. So we went to the movies last night and saw the movie Widows, which was pretty good. It was an interesting movie. And we got to spend some time together, man. So can't pass that up because we don't get it often enough. But I didn't want to go live at 1 a.m. when we got home. So it is what it is. But I'm happy to be here with y'all today, man. Right now, at this moment, we'll do some highlights later if I'm able to go live. But hey, I'm telling y'all, man, this is the most crucial moment for our franchise. Because all this young talent in 2 years won't be young talent anymore. They'll be up for contract negotiations, new contracts. They'll be up for free agency. Are we going to let them hit the free agent market? And when you understand salary caps and things like that, you can't pay everybody. That's just the reality, especially if you're developing a really good team. That's why you have a window where you got to do it fast. We have enough 1 and 2 year contracts on our roster right now, expiring contracts in the next 2 years, where this is the perfect moment to do it now. While all these young stars are getting paid minimal dollars because the NFL doesn't allow them to get paid the big bucks. See, nobody notices in on the starting 11 of the Patriots on offense and the starting 11 on defense, those 22 players, the Patriots will have like 10 of those guys out of 22 are younger than 27 years old, like younger. And then when they win their Super Bowl and their contract comes out, thank you for your service. And they go right back in the draft and free agency looking for the young stars that they don't have to pay a lot of money for. We got to do it now. That's why I don't want a test next year. I don't want a experiment next year. I'm scared of the new quarterback because as soon as they get on the field and play, it will automatically tell us, oh gosh, we're about to go through development for the next few years, or we already know what we got. Let's see this team and see what we're doing, if we're improving at this position, that position, so it's just scary, man. I want to see good football. I don't want to see guessing football. I don't want to be the Jets right now. Sam Darnold throwing 6 picks versus the Dolphins. And I don't want to be a Jets fan saying this. Well, we got to give him time to develop, but he's solid. He's good. He's solid. But he's throwing 6 picks versus a division rival in his first year. Y'all don't understand. That's actually a ton. Even being young, even being a rookie, that is a lot. 6 alone in 2 games versus a division rival. This is what you're going against every year, against a division rival. I don't want to be the Jets with their shiny new quarterback. And right now, Jets fans, even if they don't believe in him, they can't bring their mouth to say it because, he's young. He showed us some good flashes. He did some good things. If he could get down his turnovers and this and that and this. I don't want to go through that. I don't. Some people obviously want to take that chance because it could also turn out to be, oh my gosh, look at his first year. It could. But let me warn y'all about all these big names like y'all say Tua, Herbert, Haskins. I'm seeing some of y'all in the comment section. When y'all name some of them, you can't always look at their college career. Look at them in college. Oh my gosh. Man, all these guys coming out of college are throwing these nice passes, are getting these TDs. All these high prospect quarterbacks. But truth be told, you got to look at how many of them are actually coming out and being successful. We also have to look at history, guys. When I look at the new shiny name coming out of college, oh, this player from this school, one of the top schools, broke the school record, was a leader in this, all ACC player of the year, X, Y, and Z, this, that, and this. I can look at that and be excited, but I also got to go back in the past and say, oh, look at this player, ACC this, that, this, won the all strongman award, this and that, school history. And they played one NFL game and never could get off the bench. And then they got their shot 2 years later and just played trash. And these are some of the biggest names coming out of college. And I'm going to be honest, do you notice that technically some of the biggest names are always the bust at quarterback? It's the truth. It is the truth, man. That's why I try to caution us as a fan base. Football is bigger than the line. It's bigger than the quarterback. It's bigger than, the defensive line. It's just so much involved. And the crazy thing is this small little thing over here can be impacting so many different positions in their production. One of the biggest positions that's an impact is positions on the O-line. Because look how much the O-line controls. If the O-line can block well, the running game is successful. So the running backs are successful. The running backs are happy because they're successful and they love playing in Miami and they want a great future. So they give their all. They perform well. Good job, running backs. But it's stemming from a great offensive line that's able to give them holes, give them options to be great. Give them, do you want to go through this hole or that hole? That's where your running backs have options to be great and you get to see their greatness because the line is letting you make decisions and you have to make a great one and you do it, The O-line controls the entire run game. But the O-line also controls the passing game. The quarterback doesn't have time, your quarterback's going to look like trash. But forget the quarterback. Look at the people out there running all day during the game, the wide receivers. The wide receivers running routes. Just imagine those wide receivers that's like, all right, we got to do something special. I want to be a star in this league. I'm running a great route. I'm doing as hard as I can. Oh my gosh, I'm wide open. I look back. Oh, my quarterback was sacked 3 seconds ago. Forget what quarterback is back there because I don't want y'all to think I'm making this conversation about our quarterback. I'm just saying in general. But look at the impact we have on wide receivers. Then we have a 600-yard wide receiver. For several years, y'all notice that it's been hard for us to have that number one wide receiver. Then when we bought in Kenny Stills, we say he was a number one, but he had great numbers, but it wasn't like superior numbers. And now I even hear people saying we still need a top flight receiver. And I'm like, we got 6 great receivers. What do you mean? But forget quarterback, y'all. Forget running backs. Look at what the offensive line is doing to our receivers. Look at what the O-line is doing to our receiver. You know what? Maybe that'll help my argument better. Because instead of me defending our quarterback and stuff like that, because all of it applies. The line is hurting the running backs. The line is hurting the quarterback. The line is hurting the receivers. But instead of talking about and defending the quarterback, how about I just start defending the receivers? And then people in the back of their head will start to see the common sense of how impactful the bad O-line is, how much of a bad impact the line is having on the team in a lot of positions. So when they see the light for receivers, since they're not so defensive about receivers, because it's not like they're angry with the receivers, like they're angry with our quarterback. Maybe I should do that. Look at what they're doing to our receivers, y'all. They're busting they behind, running blank routes. Never even get a chance to catch a ball. Not only that, look at our receivers. Are literally out there blocking and trying their best, but it never even makes it around the corner sometimes. Look at our receivers. Who know the reason why they still run hard to this day is because usually if the quarterback gets that ball off, we're connecting. The receivers aren't happy. They aren't happy. They just aren't. They just aren't. Real one, Jim Boom. Bro, TD, this getting ridiculous. Call this defending Tannehill channel. Let's talk Buffalo. So sick of excuses for Tanny trash. Real one, Boom. Yeah, I respect your opinion, man. I'm not even defending Tannehill. I'm defending the receivers now. And we already talked about Buffalo. It's not much to talk about. It's not much to talk about. Only thing we're really interested in, let's just be fair. You think it really matters in a lot of people's mind? Well, Buffalo's going to do this, they're going to do that, blah, 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 blah. No, the real talk, what's on people's mind right now is, how is this individual going to perform this Sunday? Is this going to be this individual's last Sunday? Is Cam Wake, is this it for him? Wow, how is the running game going to do with these young guys so we can figure out if they're even going to bring Gore back since he say he wants to, but it ain't his decision. That's what people care about right now. People care about what's going to get us to the Super Bowl. Forget Tannehill. Nobody cares. I've stated everything I need to say about him. I ain't say nothing about him today. I'm talking about positions. That's it. And to be fair, it's my job to make sure I talk about some of the biggest questions that we have. And what bigger question than quarterback? Have you read the comment section while I've been talking when I haven't even really been talking about quarterback the whole time? Have you read the conversation? Everybody's talking about the new quarterback or whether we're keeping the one we have. That's what everybody else is talking about, even when I'm talking about something else. So if I defend a decision that, see, and for me, I'm not defending Tannehill. I'm defending a decision that our franchise needs to make that's going to be best for our future. If you were here earlier and you were paying attention, you would have also heard me say that what would be smart financially, and it would be a great idea to go in the draft. especially since Tannehill came out and said, hey, I want to end my career in Miami. That's also leverage because the truth be told, some of us are so fake that we want to sit here and say, well, we don't need to keep Tannehill for $26 million. And I was just talking about, well, we might have a chance to re-up his contract and renegotiate 2 years, 35, which is 17 per, which to me is fair. I'm talking about our team, our future, having money to go put more weapons on the team. That's what I'm talking about. So at the end of the day, the truth is people want to hear about the quarterback situation because we know how important it is if we make the right decision or the wrong decision. That's the real news in the Miami Dolphins organization right now. Are we going new? And is that going to be the best decision? Or do we stay with what we have? And is that going to be the best decision? So that's it. I'm talking about our future. You missed the part when I was talking about our bright young future, us ushering in those new guys, what we already know. How do we miss all of that? And all of a sudden, I'm defending Tannehill on this. I barely talked about Tannehill. I know what it is, though. If I talk for 30 minutes and never mention Tannehill, and then I say, well, I also want to see how Tannehill plays today, then you come in the comment section, oh, you're defending Tannehill. Is that what it is? So I'm not even allowed to say that man's name anymore. That's pretty much it. And unfortunately, that won't happen. It just won't happen. I'm going to talk about what's important for the franchise long term right now. That's the type of fan I am. If you want me to tell you what you want to hear, though, I promise you there are some great YouTubers. I don't know if they tell you what you want to hear, but I'm just saying there are some other great YouTubers about the Miami Dolphins. I just got to tell you my truth. That's what I do over here. Tell you how I feel, what I think is right, what I think is wrong, so that everybody who subscribed to this channel a year later, they can say, see, TD, I told you were wrong in that situation, and TD can say, you're right, and I'm happy I was wrong. I'm happy that we made the decision that we made. I didn't see it at the time. Or they'll say, oh, man, TD, now look at what we're going through. You were right. And it still don't mean I was right, because it could have been worse if we kept him. I don't know. But that's what it's about. That's all it's about. That's it, man. But if you want to hear what you want to hear, there are so many, not so many, but there are at least 5 Dolphin YouTubers I know, and some of us got different perspectives, especially with Tannehill. And I advise you to go find one of them so you can glorify under the, yeah, let's get rid of Tannehill all day. So you can hear something that you want to hear. Yay, let's get rid of him. Yay, yay, tell him. That's right. That's that. Go do that. Go do that. It just doesn't register in my common sense that way. Doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means for me, it doesn't register that way. It just doesn't. I'm sorry. But if you want to hear me talk about what I believe, then this is where you should be, man. No love lost. I love you, man. I'm just saying. Just saying. All right. Man, I can't believe this is what our season has come to. Crazy, ain't it? It's what a matter of fact, no. Let me back up. I'm actually, there is a part of me that's happy, y'all. See, I look at things big picture, long term. Big picture, long term. I'm actually happy our season went like this. Sometimes when your season goes like this, you discover so much about your team. I mean, what I keep talking about is look at the answers we got through the turmoil. Look at the answers. The number one answer we got is whether we keep Ryan Tannehill or not, we have to have a good backup quarterback. So even if we get rid of him and we go get a shiny new one, we still need another one behind him. Period. Not any of them other little scrubs. We still need another one behind him. That's what we did learn. Because if our brand new shiny one goes down, we're going to be saying it again. Is this what our season came to? So we did learn that. Okay? That's what I'm excited about. All this turmoil gave us answers, though. It also told us more about Bobby McCain. It told us more about Mika Fitzpatrick, especially with Xavier Howard going down and Rashad Jones going down when he did. It told us a lot on who needs to be where and where they're better suited. It also told us something about Rashad Jones too and what's going on with him. And we got to watch that story too in the offseason. The biggest thing that it told us this year, and this is where it's sad, y'all. This is where every Dolphin fan should be in uproar, but we're not. We're not in uproar. Do y'all know that we talk about getting rid of a quarterback more than this position that I'm about to say? It's the truth. This unit sucks so bad, but we talk about other positions more than we talk about the unit, and that's the offensive line. We learned that the offensive line, after your veterans got hurt, is pure boo-boo trash. Pure boo-boo trash. We felt that way last year. We felt that way the year before. No, the year before, I think we felt decent at O-line, the O-line, but our quarterback wasn't there. But the year before that, we felt that way about the O-line. The year before that, we felt that way about the O-line. The year before that, we felt like it too, but then we had all those scandals to blind it. The year before that, the year before that, the year before that, the year before that. And you know what's crazy about it? Nobody's talking about this, but y'all gonna hear it right now. And I want y'all to open y'all mind, man. Open y'all mind to what I'm about to say. Because this is where I'm in trouble, y'all are in trouble, all Dolphin fans are in trouble. We've been doing the wrong thing. Open your eyes, humble yourself, because I'm humbling myself, because I'm guilty of it too. What I'm about to say. All those quarterbacks that we've been through, all of them were boo-boo trash. But truth be told, all of them weren't that boo-boo. All of them weren't that bad. But they looked that bad. You know why? We never had O-lines to protect those guys. All of them were subject to the same sacks. They all were going down on their back too. And a lot of time, the reason why they looked even worse is because they always tried to get rid of the ball fast, even when it wasn't there. It was a struggle for some of our young quarterbacks. I don't have 4 seconds to throw the ball like these quarterbacks in the league. And we're talking about the past, buddy. Anybody think I'm talking about Tannehill? Get it out your mind. I'm talking past football. Let's be honest here. All those quarterbacks we went through. At what point are we going to stop blaming the quarterback? Forget the one we got now. I'm talking about the ones we went through. At what point were we supposed to stop blaming all of them? It was darn near 14 of them, 15 of them. 15 of them, y'all. Some of them weren't great, I admit, but when does the bucket stop saying that it's those guys? All these Pat Whites and all these young guys that we draft in first rounds and all of this stuff. When does the buck stop? Oh, he gets nervous in the pocket. Oh, he's throwing quick picks. Because they already knew they ain't had 4 seconds. They practiced with 2 seconds every day in practice. And that was when our D-line was actually good. Y'all remember? This is what they had to deal with. Cam Wake in his prime a lot of years and stuff like that. We had some D-lines now. Don't act crazy. All these young quarterbacks, man, all of them failed under us. All of them. All of them. But all of them didn't have good lines either. And year after year, do you know what we all did? Me included. Do you know what we did? Man, he a bum, man. We need a new quarterback. And what do we do the next year? Go get a new quarterback. Free agency pickup, draft. And we went through the same thing sitting there like, all right, we got our new one. Oh, man, he tripped. Man, throw the ball away. You see the pressure coming. See, we never was even looking at the real issue. We weren't even looking at the issue then. Gosh, man, you see the pressure coming, throw the ball away. Why did you throw that quick? Because he's nervous. He keep getting knocked down. He ain't even got 3 seconds for the play to develop for what was called. And he get knocked down every time. Whatever one it was. And then we wonder why they were all getting nervous back there, throwing quick passes and picked off, or quick pass incomplete, throwing to the feet of receivers. Y'all know everything we done been through. And we all at fault. Dolphin fans are all at fault for what? For always putting it on the quarterback. You know why we always put it on the quarterback? Because we had the most out of any franchise in the last 20 years. 19 quarterback, 20 now at this point, in the last 20 years. And Tannehill had 7 of them, even though Cutler was 1 and 1 more, Matt Moore. So that was like a 3 in that era to me. But come on, man. We averaged 1 a year. And Tannehill and Moore had at least 5 together. That tells you we go through more than 1 quarterback a year together. At some point, we got to stop saying we have to use common sense and say, well, let's look at, all right. Let's open the book a little more because we keep looking at the quarterback. Let's open the book a little more and say what we're causing these quarterbacks not to be great. It could be coaching. We know, though, it was also offensive line. But have we learned from that? Have we learned from that to say, let's, going forward, even if it ain't the one we got now, because I'm trying not to talk about them to help some of y'all out, okay? When, at what point are we going to get to the point where we're like, okay, going forward, we need to make sure we have one of the best offensive lines in football so that everybody we put back there is actually an easier judge of character. We'll know within the first 1, 2, or 3 years if they're our quarterback for the future. But it's crazy how we even got a quarterback today 7 years in and it's still split with the fan base on whether they're the answer or not. It's crazy. And I'm not saying the people that think he need to go is crazy, and I ain't saying that the people that think he need to stay is crazy. But that's the true factor, that we are still divided. Some people, no, it ain't him. Yeah, we don't need to get rid of him. I'm one of those, I admit. And then there's some people, no, it's been 7 years. We got to move on. Come on, man. Think about it. Bigger picture. The history is supposed to teach you to prepare for the future. How do we ignore history? How do we ignore what we've done for the last 20 years? And then we want to go right back into it. I think we think the circumstance was different this time. Well, TD, all those other quarterbacks, we only gave 1 or 2 years. This is different because we gave this one 7. But the variable in all 20 years just about has still been the same with that O-line. Same variable. We have to. I don't care if we bring in Brady, I don't care. Forget the quarterback. I ain't trying to even stick up for the one I've got. Forget him right now. If we bring in Brady, I don't like it if we're not going to fix the O-line. Whoever we bring in, we need to fix the O-line. We need to. We did it the other night. Everybody like, we need to put Mahomes type player. We played the highlights live. I let y'all see it right here with me. Mahomes highlights. It was some plays we counted to 6 seconds that this man had to throw the ball. 6 seconds. 6 seconds. 6. And then we like, well, TD, to be fair, if he didn't have 6, he would use his legs. It's different when you're getting a pass rush on one side of the line and you feel it, and this whole side is clear. Oh, let me take off. That's easy. But what do you think Mahomes is going to do when he hikes the ball? This side is pressuring him. He wants to take off, and he looks right into another side coming at him. Let me step up. Oh, it's too late. He wouldn't be Mahomes. That's all I keep trying to tell. The man, the CBS writer that votes for MVP 2 days ago, he on the sports channel talking about it. He's talking about a lot of people, I vote, and a lot of people thinks Mahomes is the runaway MVP. And he says, I don't understand that. I've been covering football and writing about football for my whole life. And I don't understand why people think that. The way that I test it is, if I could take the middle half of the league, all those average players, You know, the Tannehills, all those little average players that we be talking about. He said, if I take any one of them and put them behind that line and they play for the Chiefs, deep down inside, I know every single one of them is going to be above average. He said it. He said, I know all of them are going to be above average if I put them with the Chiefs. And he said, there's a lot to say about that people want to ignore. And he said, that ain't taken away from Mahomes' greatness. He's still a great quarterback. You still got to deliver the ball, even if you got time. And you still got to deliver it accurately. You still got to be able to scramble sometimes and get out. But truth be told, I could put all those mediocre quarterbacks, the middle of the pack, the rankings of 10 through 25 or whatever, and all of them would have had better seasons with the Chiefs. Some of them might have had seasons better than Mahomes. And I don't understand how people ignore those factors. So he said, no, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Mahomes has my MVP vote for sure. I'm not going to tell you he doesn't either, because I want to see Sunday's game. He said, I have to look at all 16 games. But look at what Drew Brees is doing. Drew Brees stays in the pocket doing everything that he's doing. Drew Brees ain't had no weapons at receiver. Then they bring in one because they shorthanded and he go out for the season and Dez. Man, see, I love this question because this is Solo Boy Zoe. You wrote a great question. The reason why I say that's a great question, because it allows me to prove to other people why they need to shift their thought process. Here's his question, y'all. He says, TD, how long do it take a quarterback to make it to the playoffs? You see where everybody's mind is, y'all? How long does it take a quarterback to make it to the playoffs? It don't take nothing, because a quarterback ain't going to get you to the playoffs. A good team is going to get you to the playoffs. Brady lost the Super Bowl with a career all-time performance in the Super Bowl and lost. Russell Wilson 2 weeks ago threw for 78 yards, 1 interception and 0 touchdowns, and they won the game by more than 2 scores. That's the problem. That's where people's mind is. How long should it take a quarterback? Whoa! If you know football, you know the quarterback shouldn't even be in that conversation. How long should it take a franchise, a team, to go into playoffs? You have to look at things from a team standpoint. What is this team doing? And if it just got its new quarterback, how long will it take this team to develop everything around it to get to the playoffs? Yes, you can get phenomenal quarterback play, but that phenomenal play only assists you to get there. But it's not on the quarterback itself. You know how many quarterback has thrown for record years and had Pro Bowl years and didn't make the playoffs because their defense sucked? Do you know that there's some teams who have trash offenses, but they make the playoffs because their defense is phenomenal? We got to get out of, we done had this player for this long. That's like me saying, why do we still got Cam Wake on the freaking team? Gosh, man. Since he been here, we ain't did nothing. We ain't win not a single game in the playoffs since him. He need to go, man. How long does it take to prove it? He got to get to the quarterback more in bigger games. But we won't do that. And that's why it's unfair to do that with a quarterback. Y'all built it. Y'all done fed into what the media tells y'all, because the media for the last forever has glorified the quarterback position. The media has glorified the quarterback position, so it leaves the general fan base thinking that the quarterback is going to win you a Super Bowl or lose you a Super Bowl. God dog, if you gave me Tom Brady's stats in the Super Bowl last year, ain't nobody and their mama would think he lost that Super Bowl. Because we can argue, and I'm not going to sit here and sound like Shannon, because he don't know what he's talking about with that argument. When he be like, well, you see how him and Skip has to argue that point? Shannon says, he didn't win the Super Bowl, so he didn't perform well. Did you see what he did? And Skip's like, he had a historic year, and Skip be talking out his mind craziness. But in this case, do you see what they arguing about? Whether Brady lost the Super Bowl or not for the team. By asking how long would it take for a quarterback to get you to the playoffs? That's just like saying Brady didn't do his job in that Super Bowl because he didn't win it. He didn't win. It's crazy. And the sad thing, and yes, I will mention Tannehill right here. The saddest thing is, Joshua Bermudez, you're 100% correct. At least our franchise has proof that when the offensive line, when we can correlate in our brains, the offensive line look real good. When has Tannehill ever failed us? When has he ever failed us? When we have said, oh man, look at this O-line. It's so crazy that even when he plays well, guess who gets all the shine? We're even stuck with saying, man, hey, the offensive line played well, y'all. Did y'all see that? The offensive line played well. Like, wow. Even when he has a monster performance, man, the offensive line did what they had to do today. You see how crazy that is? To me, at least. And some people come on here and bash me all day. And I sit there and scratch my head like, man, are you not making sense of this? I mean, nothing's wrong with them disagreeing, but the way they come at me is like, I'm talking like the craziest theory in the world. Like 1 + 1 = 2. Every time the offensive line play well, and we like the offensive line play well, there's a correlation with Tannehill and his best football. Every time the offensive line look boo-boo trash, there's a correlation with Tannehill. But then forget Tannehill. Let's go back the last 13 years before his 7. We've never had great offensive line play. 14 quarterbacks look that bad? No, not 14. 17 quarterbacks were just terrible. Correlation. And it leaves me like, am I just talking crazy for real? Because people be commenting like, TD, you ridiculous. You don't know what you're talking about. You're defending it like, oh my gosh, I'm just looking at facts and making a hypothesis, an educated guess. And what are you supposed to do with a hypothesis? You're supposed to study it. So I come on here and I talk about my hypothesis, and we look at it every week to study it. And then all the data and all our findings leads us to a conclusion. When the offensive line sucks, the receiver sucks, the quarterback sucks. When the offensive line looks good, the quarterback looks good. Kenny Stills is getting off. Devontae Parker's getting off today. Jakeem Grant's getting off today. Albert Wilson's getting off today. It's like a correlation. And I'm just supposed to ignore that? I'm supposed to ignore that? You know who I'm going to listen to first? Before I listen to the people that's telling me I'm wrong? First, I'm going to listen to my brain. And then I'm going to listen to people like Peyton Manning and Dan Marino. Now, Dan Marino, I can dismiss his a little because he's a homer. He's a hometown person. He ain't got no business bashing his quarterback if he should. But to see Peyton Manning and what he says about Ryan Tannehill, that he should definitely win a Super Bowl, he should definitely win a Super Bowl in Miami one day. And how Tannehill is a very talented quarterback, and he can be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Why ain't gonna listen to him? Why am I not gonna listen to Peyton Manning? And then go out and look at everything else that's happening around, pure fans, you're right, attributables, all the attributables. And I got to come on and defend my logic and argue almost every stream with people that are telling me I'm crazy because I think that way. See, people think I'm just rambling about Tannehill. Only time, y'all know, the only time I start when I see this comment that's like, TD, you don't know what you're talking about. TD, I'm unsubscribing because you just love Tannehill. TD, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what is wrong with y'all? Why y'all getting on me? You know what? Your point is your point. I have the right to argue it and disagree. And I don't want any of y'all to feel like it's unfair because you're not able to talk to everybody and tell them your reasoning. That's why I always offer. Email me, tdfanstalk@yahoo.com. We can set up a conference call. We can talk about it back and forth while everybody hears. You might drop some knowledge on me. You might drop some knowledge on me that make me be like, gosh, I didn't think about that. That's the factor I've been needing. You're the first person to actually give a great reason outside of what we see as proof. You're the first person. And that's what I look for. So I try to be as fair as I can. But I'm crazy. I'm way off and I'm tripping. And all I want to do is defend this guy and this and that, and this. Why wouldn't I defend him? I try to use my brain in life. And my brain leads me to make an educated guess about what I think. And then I'm not that non-seeking knowledge person. I don't just believe what I want to believe and then don't just go find out that it's fact before I speak it. See, TD will hear something, and if I'm just speculating, I'm going to tell you, now this is just my thoughts. It could be totally different. I can tell you that. I would tell you that. I'm upfront, open book. I would tell you that. This is just my thought. It don't mean I'm actually, because it could be this too. I may not be right. I tell you that. But TD don't get lazy. I don't just believe in something and just be like, yeah, that's what it is, and I'm gonna believe that forever. No, TD say, this sounds like it makes more sense, and this is what it is. Now let me go look for proof. All right, I'm seeing on film. Okay, I'm not seeing where it's really this guy's fault. I'm seeing in conferences, listening to the coaches. I'm listening to people like Peyton Manning, who's done it, proven much better knowledge about the situation. You know, I'm looking at history too to teach me. And then when I put all my facts together, I come up with a conclusion and I tell y'all what I still think. It's still a thought. It's still a thought, man. Julio said, TD, answer my question. Well, let me go back up and try to find it because I must have missed it. Julio, let me find Julio. Julio, I do not see it. I must have missed it by far. I must have missed it by far. You're going to have to repost it, Justin. Julio, I meant. Julio, repost it, man, because I didn't see it, bro. Let me see. You'll have to repost it, man. I would love to answer your question. Tannehill can't throw. Hold on. He's asking if we keep Tannehill, draft a QB, and make Dan Marino GM. See, I don't know anything about Dan Marino being a GM, y'all. I mean, we love Dan Marino from his playing, but we have no proof of Dan Marino's front office experience. Stanley Smith, you make some great points, TD. I'm trying to. Don't even mean I'm right, Stanley. But I'm what I try to do is because y'all educate me too. So I try to find people who don't see my logic so I can hear theirs because sometimes other people's logic is better. But it would be ignorant of me to hear a better logic and not replace it with mine if it's better. That would be ignorant of me. But I don't know about Dan Marino in the front office. We have no history. We can't just say because it's Dan Marino. You know what I mean? Well, he knows football. That don't mean he's a great judge of talent. That's why I even said I can't, we don't know. We don't know. I'm going to keep it 100. I love Dan Marino. I love to see him in the office, but he might end up being the worst GM there is. Look at Michael Jordan. Look at Michael Jordan. Point exactly. Point exactly. Hold on. Breon, I'm glad you're bringing that up. Breon said Finns have flyers with Jets, yet they don't throw deep. And I think I saw your comment earlier, Bree. I think so. But you're saying they got flyers with Jets, but they don't throw deep. Who can throw deep when your quarterback got 2 seconds to throw the ball? Who can throw deep? Who can throw deep when your quarterback got 2 seconds to throw the ball? I don't know. I don't know who can throw deep like that when your quarterback only got 2 seconds. That's the problem. Let me see. I think I missed one. Need time to throw it deep. And that's something we never have. Again, folks, it starts in the trenches. Exactly, the O-line. Just checking in, got the live notification. All right, Anthony, shout out to you. We can't blame the O-line anymore. I ain't gonna comment on that. Whoever, Matthew, if you believe that, oh my gosh, like what logic is it that we can't? Like I just literally played the video for y'all the other night of Mahomes, and we running his highlight reel, and 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds. This man went to 6 seconds on a lot of his possessions. 5 and 6 seconds, y'all. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. Man, I'm trying to keep up. That's why we keep getting killed on 3rd and long. Exactly. We ain't got time to throw it on 3rd and long. And we look at every defense on 3rd and long. It could be 3rd and 11. Like 5 cornerbacks lined up at the 11-yard line, still got 2 high safeties. And the rush done got there before the receiver even hit the first down mark. Before the receiver even get to the first down mark. It's crazy. True that Dan Marino has proven that he does not want any power position within our team. That's true too. We haven't been a deep threat team for years compared to other teams. Hey, I would disagree with that. I remember Tannehill's first 2 years sucked at the deep ball. Our main thing was, can he connect on the deep ball? We had already seen what he can do below, and we were happy about that. That's what gave us hope. But he couldn't connect on the deep ball. Kenny Stills, it was always rough. That 3rd year, him and Kenny Stills had a record connecting year. That was when Kenny put over 1,000. That was when Kenny had a great year. And from that point on, him and Kenny actually have always connected when it's deep and Kenny's open. Think about it. Him and Kenny Stills connect deep quite a bit. Quite a bit. When the O-line is blocking. Just got to make sure I put that in there. We need an offensive coordinator. We got an offensive coordinator. When I look at the plays, the schemes are actually good. If you go back and watch film, that's why I kind of got off Gase's chops a little bit. I backed off a little bit off Gase, but we got an offensive coordinator. When you go back and watch the film, 80% of the game called is actually really good plays. I'm always seeing somebody open. But when I see him open, the quarterback already on his back. And then I rewind the tape a little bit when they recovered and they weren't open, and the quarterback is just hitting his set and somebody's already up on him. That's what I go look at. I don't just go look at, well, we got open guys and our quarterback not hitting them. No, I go watch the receivers first. I don't even look at the quarterback. I watch the receivers. I watch all the routes. Nothing open, nothing open. And as soon as I see this open man, and when I say open, I ain't saying he wide open. I see the move he made that may have only given him 1 inch of a separation. In the middle of the field, he's separated in front of his guy, not 1 inch, but 1 foot. That's, hey, we finally got one that we can possibly hit. I pause it right there. I go back and look. Why is the quarterback already on the way down? Wrapped up, headed down. That's what I go look at. Because if you wanted them to throw it before that, then you're telling them to just blindly throw and he'll have more picks, and then we'll say he sucked in too. But I watched the film. That's what, if you watch the film, that's what you should try to go do. Watch the film, just look at the receivers, because they have highlights and stuff that give you top view. They give you different views of the play. Go watch the film. When they hike the ball, just look at receivers. And as soon as you see somebody starting, not when they got separation, starting separation, hit pause. Now go to your O-line. Why is our quarterback already got his hands on him headed down? But we want to say it's the quarterback. Now, yes, there are some plays where, pause, we got a man in the flat, nobody open, and our quarterback, he got pressure, but he still got time to throw. But he don't see the guy in the flat. We have those moments too. Tannehill has those moments. But then I go look at his progression. He looks over at that guy that he need to throw it to later. Bam. He's open, but my progression, see a man there, is going to be a one-on-one. Let me find another guy. Nobody. His job is to come back. He's supposed to come back to his progressions. But what does he do? He gets nervous and he gets sacked. And we can say, see, well, he got to be better in that. And I agree. But how can he be better in that when he 1, 2, 3, 4, which is about 3 seconds in, and usually he ain't got no longer than that. What he's worried about is coming back and getting sack fumble. And then we're like, oh, he holds the ball too long. Or anything like that. That's what we say. So sometimes he's not going to see his first progression might also be his fifth progression. Because sometimes it's a back and forth, or it's a coming this way. But when you come back, the guy over here should be over here by now. That's how progressions work. You know your number count and what you're looking at and what level of the field and where you're coming back to. You know. But our quarterback don't have time to get to the fourth and fifth progression. Hell, sometimes he ain't got time to get to the third. It's crazy. And that also causes sometimes quarterbacks to stare down a slant route and stuff, hype, and they really want to get this one in. They don't want this is a 3rd and 6. I don't want the pressure to sack me. Oh, that's why they stare him down sometimes. They don't want to never even get to that slant, looking them off. That's why sometimes they're like, what? Oh, is it there? And sometimes they just do it anyway and they get pick 6. Minka Fitzpatrick's pick 6. Quarterback wasn't paying no attention to the defense. He saw the formation. He wasn't expecting Minka to jump that route. He wasn't expecting Minka to come through. He was expecting Minka to guard the man in front of him going out. So it's look, I saw the defense. Let me get it there. That's what a lot of quarterbacks doing. A lot of these throws they making ain't even to the open man. It's timing plays. Some of these plays are he should be at this point at this time. Let me throw it. A lot of them. A lot of them. But our offense ain't built that way. That's not the plays that we calling. We don't even have that type of time, y'all. We don't. The reason why I said we can't blame the O-line anymore is because the front office isn't fixing the problem. So what we're supposed to blame another position and allow that to keep being a problem? That's like blaming the quarterback, bringing a new one in, then they suck again. Then we say, hey, but we still can't blame the O-line because they just not going to fix it. Let's bring another quarterback. What we're looking for is a quarterback that's going to make up for other people's deficiencies. We've said this before, and you're proving it. What we're looking for is a quarterback that's going to make up for other people's deficiencies, and that's not realistic. We've been doing that for 20 years. You can't say I'm wrong. You can't. TD, you didn't respond to me, bro. Rip Tupac, hopefully you got it, the comment again. I'm chatting about everything I see, so you got to put it again. Hopefully I see it in time. Rip, let me see. I'm trying to see if I can find Rip Tupac. I'm back. Rip. Where's Rip? Rip Tupac. TD, you didn't respond to me, bro. Oh, I missed you, man. I don't know what you actually commented. I'm not sure you're talking about email or what. All right, guys. Make a deal with San Francisco for Mullins and have him compete. Just a thought. I mean, but what are you trading? You talk about make a deal. That means you're giving something up. You're giving something up. And I'm all for bringing another quarterback in to compete. But I keep on for the life of me, we keep talking about a quarterback competing. Why are we even talking about the quarterback? I guess that's the main thing that I keep on trying to convey. Why do we keep talking about the quarterback? Because we bought into this league of glorifying the quarterback. And you notice how every year 20 teams are still searching for their quarterback? 20 teams. And y'all can name and all it's less than 20. No, even your Cam Newtons. You think Carolina right now is like, okay, Cam is our quarterback for the next 10 years? You're crazy if you don't think it's season to season, even with him. Season to season. He ain't doing nothing but being Cam Newton. Outside of his early career, what is that into now? Okay, yeah, that's a good point. What's up with Carolina right now? What they doing? What the Panthers doing? Y'all help me out. What is Carolina Panthers doing? Cam is overrated. Hey, but we don't give Cam this. What is Carolina Panthers doing? And y'all want to say it's all on the QB. Wouldn't we glorify Cam years ago? Oh, we could have had Cam. Y'all miss it. That man rookie year, he had a great offensive line. Slinging that ball everywhere. He got all day back there throwing them deep bombs. Oh, but now you can't afford them all. So the offensive line ain't as great either. Now what is he doing? Looking like an average quarterback? Oh, well, let me be generous. A little bit above average? Come on. This is what we talking about here, man. That's what we talking about, man. And Anthony Felicio, that's what I'm talking about. Let me read your comment. You don't sell your car till you have a new one, or your ass will be walking everywhere. I'll go a step further. You don't sell your car till you got a new one that you know work, that you know it works, that you done test drove it. I ain't talking about the seller driving in the front of you. See, he could be holding something to keep it together while he driving it. See, it work. Like, come on, man. Dak is also mediocre without a good line. Kenneth Ortiz, oh my gosh, finally somebody see the light. And from a Cowboy perspective, you spot on. I've been telling Cowboy fans this for the last 2.5 years. I said the worst thing that could have happened to Dallas is Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott having the great year they had their rookie year. Why would that be the worst thing? I said because you don't know what kind of players they are. What you mean? They the next Troy and Emmett. Did you see what they did? I said, oh my gosh, y'all had the best O-line in football. What are you talking about? And last year they had 2 major injuries on that O-line. The greatest O-line in football. 2 of them, the Pro Bowlers went out. And what happened? Ever, you know how many Cowboys fans dislike Dak Prescott because of last year? Oh, he ain't the answer, man. He knew all this his rookie year. Now he look like a bum. Go look at his last year. Even this year at sometimes. And then one of their O-linemen came back from injury. They lucky they were able to re-sign Zach Martin in the offseason. So they got most of their line back healthy. And look at what's happening. I said the worst thing that could have happened to y'all. And what's even worse, what we might end up dealing with, hold on, y'all. My bad. Let me go back. Hey, man, hold on. I'm going to get to your question, Bree. I'm going to get to that in a second. But the worst thing that's the worst thing that could have happened to the Cowboys. You know why? Because they didn't maximize. This is their last year to do it. They got to win a Super Bowl this year. If y'all don't believe that, you're crazy. Because what Cowboy Nation ain't talking about, and I went to Thanksgiving over my in-laws, and all of them Cowboy fans, and I dropped this knowledge on them, and every single one of them, man, I ain't gonna lie, you right. That's what they told me, man. You spot on. I ain't even think about that. What's gonna happen when you gotta give Dak and Ezekiel that big money? What people fail to realize, when you got 2 big-time players like that, and they were on top draft picks, the money that they got lined up about to come, you can't afford an O-line like that. And if you do afford an O-line like that, guess what the Cowboys' strongest suit was this year? Their defense. I bet you they lose some of them parts on defense because they ain't going to be able to afford them. When you got to pay Dak and Ezekiel, those big contracts, you can't afford the same team. Some area is going to suffer. Some area. Who is it? Oh, hold on, y'all. That was hard. Okay. All right. Hey, big boy. I'll get him in a second. Oh, man. But listen, they got to pay those guys now. Their window. If you pay those guys, you can't keep the whole team intact the way you want to. You can't. Because they will be so far over the cap. What's up, man? You say hello? No. Hello. You got him? All right. I'm going to come out a little bit. All right. But that's the worst. So they're going to have to make some moves, man. And I don't want us to go through the same thing. We got Tunsil. We got Xavier Howard. We got some studs coming up. We have to solidify the roster now so that we can start rotating players in and out. And quickly, before I get out of here, y'all, because I need to go with the babies for a little bit, help out because it's been an hour and 20 minutes. But Breonna said, okay, TD, you don't have a line, a running game, a passing game, a bad defense. What are your strengths? First off, you're wrong, Bree. We have a great running game. Yeah, we don't have a line, but we have a running game when Frank Gore is in. He knows how to navigate through the trash. And our passing game is legit. Our passing game is legit. When our O-line blocks. Our running game can be one of the best in the league when our O-line does their assignments. And that's something they actually were decent on, is the run blocking. But the pass protection, no, nothing. So you don't have a line. You're right, we don't have a line. A running game, we don't have the best running game because of the line. And it's still decent. A passing game, only because of the line. We ain't even got time to get them the ball. A bad defense, oh my gosh, our defense ain't bad. We just got a bad defensive scheme. Our strengths are our players, our assets. That's our team's strengths right now. Waiting to be utilized the right way. That's what our strengths are. Our young talent. Laramie Tunsil, Xavier Howard, Minka Fitzpatrick, McMillan, our young talent, Grant, Albert Wilson, Drake, all our young talent, Bolden, Parker, even Butler's performing, and he's becoming a good receiver by not being a top target, just somebody to do their job. So that's what our strength is, man. But guys, this is TD Fans Talk, man. Gonna get back to some more family time. Make sure I spend some time with the babies over the weekend. But guys, love y'all, love y'all, love y'all. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. Trust me, if I missed your comments, please, please, please forgive me. I can't hear. Balaj, you're right. I'm sorry. I done missed some of them. I missed some of the young talent. I missed it. We got the talent. TJ McDonald's looking good. Bobby McCain. Xavier Howard, the future is being ushered in. We got them. We just have to put them in the right schemes and the right game plan and put the right players next to them that can do their job so that the talent ain't got to do their job and their job. That's what's happening, man. That's what's happening, man. Hey, y'all, this is TD Fans Talk, man. At the end of the day, I'm just trying to talk my truth. So if anybody disagrees, I ain't sitting here trying to go back and forth with you, argue with you all day. All I'm trying to say is hit me up an email, call me. We can talk about it live, man. Y'all know I still haven't gotten anybody to step up to that plate. Even when I call them out on the chat, hey, hit me up. Let's hear it. Because most people don't even have the answers to what they saying out of their mouth. They don't have the reasons why. They'll say something like, oh, Bobby McCain sucks, but can't even list the reasons why. I mean, we might be able to list a few reasons this year, but y'all see what I'm saying. It is what it is, man. Hey, this TD Fans Talk, y'all. Come to y'all again. Love y'all, love y'all, love y'all. We getting ready for Buffalo tomorrow. Everybody who won on Spin the Wheel a few days ago, just stay tuned. I had to order a few more things to make sure I can get everything out to everyone. But hey, this is TD Fans Talk. Love you, love you, love you, y'all. Peace, y'all. I'm out, man. Thank y'all for tuning in, guys.